Hello, and welcome to this special Christmas episode of Anime Audio Commentary. Today I'll be commenting on episode 14 of Toradora. If you'd like to watch along, then start watching now. So, one kind of has to wonder where the plot is going to be going now, since that last little arc resolved. Although, it does seem like Taiga and Ryuji have done a bit of matchmaking or something. Interesting. Okay, so the plot's getting a little bit thicker in that the two of them don't really seem to know the people involved. Man, I feel like this is starting to turn into a horror movie almost. Everybody seems happy to see Taiga, in a weird sort of way that they hadn't before. Okay. So it would seem as though there's some sort of superstitious belief that's cropping up. Oh, that's utterly foul, Taiga. Oh, jeez. So, it seems to me that based on context clues and me having a massive brain, it would seem as though people have latched onto the idea that rubbing Taiga's head somehow leads to good luck in love or something. You know, obviously the whole thing is just stupid. Like, that very clearly doesn't make any sense, but, you know, people are just sort of like correlating these two things, the good luck and having contact with Taiga, so not understanding the difference between correlation and causation as many people do, they're just sort of assuming that the two things are necessarily related. I feel like this could very swiftly turn into a pretty big nightmare just because people in need of good luck will just not leave you alone. Man, you know, considering Minori's, not confession necessarily, but airing her suspicions, you know, man, isn't it good news for her that Taiga exclaims, "Only you can touch me"? Now, Ryuji's a little bit more open to this idea than I would initially think he would be, although he's taking a more philosophical look at the whole thing. You know, if Taiga can bring good luck to others but has a rather unfortunate life herself, you know, wouldn't that be ironic? And of course it would, but, you know, I think he's just playing into the correlation versus causation thing, too. Oh, dear. So it seems like Tag is sort of leaning into rumors of all sorts. I can only imagine that things are going to get increasingly complicated until something hits a breaking point. You know, despite spending a lot of time together and hanging out, Taiga seems to really be leaning into the idea that she's single. Seemingly, I guess, out of spite, almost. Oh dear. So naturally, Kitamura approaches to throw a wrench into things. You know, I hope you're not stressing about these rumors. What rumors? Ha 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 ha. Obviously, she is stressing about them. And I suppose it doesn't help that Kitamura sort of... I don't want to say blame, because blame implies a negative connotation, but sort of blames her for the success of the cultural festival. You know, that surely doesn't help things, if everybody already thinks she's a good luck charm. Because, to be fair, it wasn't obvious that the cultural festival was going to succeed the way it was going. You know, it was a very definite possibility that the whole thing would have been bad. And Taiga essentially played a pivotal role in making it not suck. Alright, so the plot's thickening again. Ami had, for want of a better term, an interesting sounding phone call. So it seems like there are all sorts of rumors and intrigue flying around. Man, that seems like a really bad habit of hers. Picking something from the vending machine that no one could possibly want. Oh. Oh dear. You know, I don't think this guy's going to ingratiate himself very well by hurling a full can at Tiger's face. I'm afraid he might have earned himself a severe beating. Yeah, poor guy. He just wants a little bit of good luck, but it seems he is far too unlucky to receive any good luck. And it seems like, despite all the progress they have made, everything has reverted back to the status quo, where Ryuji is just sort of hauled along for the ride regardless of, well, anything really, regardless of his wants or needs. So I'm wondering if this is a ploy on Taiga's part to get more nice pictures of Kitamura. But on the other hand, I can't imagine there would have been too many taken of him at the cultural festival, considering he was essentially busy working. Oh dear. So Minori's just doing what she does, and I guess lightly instigating. Oh dear. So it seems once again, Taiga's diminutive stature is a point of contention, and the fact that anyone has a fuller figure than her is a personal affront. Man, 90 yen for 9 pictures. That's not a bad deal. It's like, what, 10 cents per picture that you buy? I guess the school really only has to Xerox them, so the cost, I assume, would be reasonably low. But I don't know. If they're going to be like color photos, I'd imagine the ink alone would be more expensive than that per photo. You know, that is truly a gigantic scam. Printer ink. I hate printers. Interesting. So both Minori and Ryuji are getting kind of weird about that picture of them crossing the finish line. So, you know, it is a nice photo of them together, but they're both sort of working towards the same ends, which is to say, trying to help out Taiga. So it's not really like a couple thing as much as it might look like that from the outside. So once again, Ami sort of displays how different she is from everyone else by kind of asserting that she's a model and that people having pictures of her isn't, well, it isn't weird to her. I mean, personally, I think it is kind of weird if you're just a private citizen and people have pictures of you. I mean, maybe that's just me and my own feelings on the matter, but, you know, I wouldn't go for being a model anyways. Oh dear. Is everybody going to pitch in and help the teacher? Because she is a real downer. Alright, so this is an interesting turn of events here. Ami is actually being nice, and nice to the teacher, and frankly, I think there are few enough instances in which you should be nice to a teacher anyways. So I'm wondering what precisely the ulterior motive is here. You know, she's not the type of character who would do something just to be a good person, so I feel like she's angling for something, but what precisely is not clear. Oh dear. Trouble in paradise, I guess. Alright, so it seems like Taiga's actually made a move here and is now Kitamura's girlfriend. Or so it would seem. You know, they haven't really interacted much, so whether or not it's true, you know, I can't really say, but she certainly seems to think so. Uh-oh. It seems like Taiga might be doing matchmaking again. She's chasing that poor guy, and it seems that this has spurred another girl into action. I mean, it's not totally unreasonable that Taiga's gonna beat on this guy, but at the same time, you know, I feel like he's more horribly unlucky and accident prone rather than malicious. Uh-oh. It's never a good sign when you hear the phrase, "we need to talk." I can only imagine that things are going to get rather melodramatic in short order. So it seems like the grass really is greener on the other side for everyone here. So, given the current state of affairs, I'm wondering what precisely is going to shake out of all of this. You know, Taiga seems to be moving away from Ryuji. Kitamura seems to be having some sort of issue with the class president. And Ami is sort of cozying up to Ryuji, so it seems like everybody's making moves of their own here. And they're all sort of, working against each other. But it seems like Ryuji's still caught up on that whole business about if Taiga is too busy making everybody else happy, how can she be happy? And to a degree, I think he's worrying a bit too much about something a little too out there. But I guess it would make more sense if she was actively going out of her way to help people rather than her presence itself being helpful. Man, it seems like Ryuji is like the only person who has any kind of like actual life skills regarding cleaning or cooking or anything like that. Like, I'm certainly no chef, but I can do a bit of cooking. I can at least take care of myself. Like, I get these are also high school students, so that's a bit different too, but at the same time, you have to learn at some point. And Ryuji's sort of echoing my sentiment here. He actually calls Ami a child, which is It probably came out harsher than he intended. He probably meant it as a joke, but I'd imagine Ami would take that pretty harshly. She relies on her feminine wiles, so by the nature of that, I would say she's pretty adult. Alright, so it seems like something bad did indeed happen with Kitamura. And even he tries to invoke the power of Taiga. Doesn't seem like it's working, though. Man, she can't help herself around Kitamura. She just immediately decides to go along with anything that might help. If she truly can bring good luck, then by all means, touch her all over. But not like that. Whoops, haha, Freudian slip. So I guess, if nothing else, things have seemed to have worked out for that couple. I'm wondering if that's sort of operating on the same principles I talked about earlier, how, like, a little bit of danger can really jumpstart a relationship, even if that danger is feigned or staged, like staging a mugging and then fighting off the would-be attacker. I'm wondering if the fact that Taiga is so bellicose sort of goaded those two into actually kickstarting things. Oh dear. You know, telling Ryuji's mom was probably a mistake. Because she would definitely buy into something like that. Although, Ryuji's mom does raise a good point. I think, sort of like I had said before, she is essentially the fool in that she gives voice to observations that everyone else overlooks, which are true. Having touched Taiga, essentially she is benefiting from the good luck of sharing a meal with friends and family. Ooh. He's telling a little bit of a lie there, I think, but on the other hand, she also seems like she has gained some level of resolve. Alright, well that's it for this episode. If you've enjoyed it, then by all means, tune in for the next one. Merry Christmas, Space Cowboy.